when I was working there as a software engineer, I was in this team developing cyworld.com. So cyworld.com used to be #1 social network in South Korea. It was similar to Facebook basically at the time. So if you see this screenshot, basically it's a screenshot of my someone's homepage in the cyworld.com. So there are some interesting features. So you can put your profile photo here, and you can kind of decorate your home area here. So this is your home, like a virtual home in the cyworld.com, and you can buy this stuff and decorate as you want. And there are many things here, like there's your diary, and there's a photo album, and a comment place, and something like this. So it's kind of similar to the Facebook. But the thing is that here, something important is this, which it used to be. So used to be means that it was #1 social network in South Korea that most people use, but it's not anymore, right? So let me talk about that. Actually, that's a very interesting story about the cyworld. So here's the cyworld.com story. So cyworld was first launched in 1999. So actually, it's very interesting because 1999 was 5 years before Facebook's first launch. So Facebook launched it in 2004, I think, and cyworld.com launched it in 1999. And after its launch, a lot of people liked it, and the number of users who are using cyworld.com increased really rapidly. So you can see that from this graph here. So it shows from January 2003 till February 2006. So basically about 3 years of a period. So during these 3 years, their user number, which is this line, increased a lot. And also this bar graph is the revenue. Their revenue has also increased a lot as their number of users increase. So eventually, this cyworld.com, they had about 23 million registered users, and they were able to make a lot of money from them, about $25 million per month. And in 2007, they were able to make 150 billion US dollar basically. And a lot of people who are utilizing Facebook, they were like young generations. So 90% of the population was in 20s basically. So it was really promising business, and it was really popular. But what happened? So why this company went out of business? It's because of this. So 5 years later, Facebook.com launched it, and they were it was very different actually. So cyworld.com, they focused more on localization. So they tried to provide a service for the people living in that their area. So cyworld.com, they provided service for Korean people. So cyworld.com later see the success in Korea, and they wanted to expand their business in other countries. So they actually went to other countries. They made cyworld.com US. They made cyworld.com Vietnam. There was also cyworld.com China like this. But the problem was this. Earlier, I mentioned that they focused on localization. They did the same thing. So for the cyworld.com US, it was different from cyworld.com Korea. So if you join cyworld.com US, you cannot talk with the people in cyworld.com Korea. So it was like that. So there was a difference between service based on the region. And at that time, like around the 2000, many people see globalization as a very positive thing, and they were into it. And Facebook, it doesn't matter where you live. You just join it, and you're able to talk with any people from different area and different country. So there was a kind of a big difference between cyworld.com and Facebook. And another thing is that in cyworld.com, I mentioned this. So here, you are able to decorate your virtual room. So basically, your homepage is your room, your area. So if you want to see another person's post, if you want to see your friend's post, you actually have to go to your friend's room, and you have to read their post there. But Facebook is different, right? Facebook is more open. So you don't need to go to your friend's profile page. You can just look at everything on your homepage, basically. In your home, it will show all the posts written by your friends and other people. So that was very different. So cyworld.com was more private, and Facebook was more open. So there was another difference. So eventually, after Facebook came to Korea, it competed against Cyber.com, and over time, as you see in this graph, so it shows how the number of users changed from 2010 to 2012 within 2 years. The number of active users in Cyber.com started to decrease rapidly, as at the same time, the number of users who are using Facebook increased rapidly. So around 2012, basically it flipped. So Cyber.com was not #1 social network in Korea anymore. Instead, Facebook became the #1 social network in Korea. So that happened, and eventually many people left Cyber.com because no one is using it anymore. So I go to Cyber.com and I see that none of my friends are using. Then I will not use it too. So many people moved to Facebook, and eventually Cyber.com started to close their global branch in the US, China, Vietnam, and eventually Cyber.com Korea was also closed. So that's what happened back then. But something very interesting is happening right now actually in Korea. So this is a very recent news from July 21 in 2021. So Cyber is going to reopen, and many people are excited about that. So it's very interesting. So here are some timelines. So in 1999, Cyber.com launched, and yeah, it started offering the mini homepage, which is basically virtual room. So this became really popular. So within 5 years, it became really popular in South Korea. And eventually, Facebook.com came to Korea. And in 2019, Cyber launched out of the funds, and they stopped the service. So in 2019, actually quite recently, right? 2 years ago, they stopped the service everywhere, including Korea. And in 2020, they went out of business. And 2021, they are starting something new. So Cyber, which is a consortium of 5 Korean entertainment companies, they bought Cyber. So even though Cyber.com went out of business, the entertainment company, they see that they can do something here. So they bought it. And in August 2021, basically last month, Cyber reopened their service. So they opened it limitedly for now, but they are going to open more and more later. So this is very interesting. So why they bought the company which went out of business and they are trying to reopen it? Because there is something very important. So this course is about database and big data. So basically this Cyber.com, even though it went out of business, it has a lot of data. So that's just something many companies and many people see very valid, very unique, and very interesting. So Cyber.com, so they operated for about 22 years. So over the 22 years, they acquired a lot of data from the users. And if you look at more details, there are about 115 million videos which they restored. So Cyber.com, after they went out of business, so nobody managed their server. So it was left out there. So some of the images, some of the videos were deleted. However, after they acquired this company again, they tried to restore the data, which is hidden and deleted. So they restored about 150 million videos from the people. And also, so they were able to recover 2.4 billion Korean won cyber money. So the thing is this. So Cyber.com sold many items to decorate your room. So some people bought that and they left it there. So those informations are also recovered, and that is worth about 2.4 billion Korean won. So there are also a lot of money there left, which people forgot. And this is one of the photos they restored, and they showed this in the media. Do you know A-Pink? So it looks like some of you know. So A-Pink is one of the Korean girl group. So actually, I don't know much. So I don't know who she is. But in the news, it says that she is one of the members in A-Pink. So they restored this image, and it was when she used to be a student. When she used to be a high school student, they also have that image. And also, they are utilizing many different technology to restore photo. So most of the photo stored in cyber.com, actually those are old photo. So at that time, the camera quality on the phone was not that good. However, they are utilizing this kind of image restoration technique to make old photo becomes more alive. So they are also utilizing many different kind of techniques, and they are advertising that cyber.com is coming back. And the interesting thing is that I think one of the reasons many people are happy about cyber.com's return is because there are a lot of memories there. Like we post a lot of pictures, we post a lot of like articles there, but we forgot about that, and that's like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So as like 10 years later, 20 years later, you may want to see like what you posted before, and you may want to see your pictures. And if you want to find those, basically you have to go back to this cyber.com. So that's one of the reasons many people are happy about they are returning. And another interesting thing is this. So earlier, the most unique part of cyber.com was basically this. You have your virtual room. So it's your room, your place, and you are able to decorate it. So what is it about is this. So in a physical world, you have your own place, and if you want to meet your friend, you have to go to a friend's place, or you have to invite your friend to your place. It's exactly the same as that. So this is your virtual place. So if you want to visit your friend's profile page, you have to go to their place, and you have to invite them to your place to show what you have in your place, basically, in the virtual world. And I think this is somewhat similar to what many people are talking about these days. So many people these days are talking about the metaverse. So basically, in the university, when they provide a lecture, instead of you coming here into the physical location, they are saying that in the metaverse world, you don't need to go there. You can just, there's like a virtual avatar for you, each of you, and virtually you go to that place to take a lecture. And there's this guy whose name is David, and he's teaching to students who came here in this virtual location. So basically, this will be me, Ki, and these students will be you in the future. So that's many people are talking about the metaverse. So this kind of service actually existed before. Like there was something called like Second Life, and there were similar services. But at that time, it got some attention, but it was not that successful because there were many limitations in technology, and people prefer meeting in the physical place more because the things you can do in virtual world was quite limited at that time. But now we have a lot of technology to make people together in the virtual place and do something actually there. So when cyber.com returns, they are saying that they are not going to coming back with this. So basically they updated your virtual room. So your virtual room is like a 3D, and you can decorate your room as you want as before. So it's more, so I don't know exactly whether they are going to actually implement a metaverse there, but many people are talking about it, and I think it's quite similar actually. What they implemented 22 years ago, your virtual room, it's kind of a concept that we have in the metaverse right now. So many people are talking about this, and I'm not sure whether Return of Cyber World will be successful or not, but I think there is something very interesting going on there right now. So that's